So I think I've solved the problem that I was having. I found the solution to the problem I was having in the past couple of days. If you haven't watched my previous video, I was fighting with how to get data in and out of a Docker container that I was spinning up. And basically, I didn't want to have to run them in the snapshot because my snapshot would need to have access to blob storage and things like that in order for it to work properly. But. So my initial problems were I either wrote all of the logic into the containers themselves and then spun up the containers, but then they'd need a way to get data out, and that would mean giving them permissions that I wouldn't want them to have. Or, secondly, figure out a way of being able to run Docker in Docker on the cloud or on a VM. And I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to host VMs with special requirements on them, or kick off things with special requirements if I could avoid it and all that kind of stuff. But I figured out a solution. What you can do is you can bind Azure file storage to the containers. So in theory, I can spin up a container, bind it to an Azure file storage, put all of the stuff that I need in there, put all the stuff I need in the new file storage. It can then pull the data out of the file storage that it wants, and then put the data back into the file storage, at which point I could use Event Grid to basically tell me when it's done, rather than kind of directly interface with Azure. I can effectively have the Docker using a local file drive as if it is local, but it's not, it's on the web, and then Gucci. I think that's my plan. I thought about it this morning while I was having some toast, bacon sandwich, and now it's time to go. Otherwise, this morning we've done a lot of pottering. I've fixed up. Laura's going to start cycling to work again, so I've sorted out her bike. We did a bit of shopping, a bit of tidying, standard stuff, you know. So I've been trying to. A couple of things have happened. We left the house, and my camera battery was dead. I feel like sometimes the battery just drains a lot quicker than it should on this thing. It's usually fine, but every now and again, I'll think it's full, and I'll try and turn it off. Turn it on and it just won't stop. So, don't know what that's about. Anyway, I've been trying to prove whether or not my volume thing will work. I think it will work. So I spin up a container instance in Azure Container Instances, connect it to an Azure Files volume, Azure Files storage, that is a volume thing, connected, volume in Docker, you know what I'm talking about, boys. Then basically that has access to it until it shuts down. As soon as it shuts down, it goes back to Azure Files, and then it triggers a load of events to say what files have been updated, and then I can have functions change like that. Whereas what I was previously trying to do was effectively generate those files within a multi-stage build, and then copy them out into a higher up level, at which point I'll then upload them to blob storage and then do it from there. So I'm going to try and do it the other way around. Using file storage, which is a little bit more expensive because I'm effectively generating something. It goes as small as a gig, which is enough. Well, it's plenty. It's way more than enough. But yeah, it's too big by a significant margin actually. But that's by the by. They can be shared. In theory, I can share them. In theory, but it's difficult to test because. You've almost got to go all in to test it because of the way that you can't just spin up an instance in the cloud interactively. I've discovered trying to figure out a way of doing that couldn't work. Anyway, so I've got to the point where I'm kind of satisfied it's going to work, but I haven't got 100% proof yet. And then we went for a walk with Laura. Laura's doing a step challenge thing for charity. So we're going to do lots of walking. And then otherwise we went into town, had some food, and then we went to the theatre to go watch Book of Mormon at the Hippodrome in Bristol. And it was really good. It was good. I mean, it was hyped up to shit, man. I don't think it was anywhere near as funny as everyone else seemed to think it was. But it's a musical as well. Dad really hyped it up, man. Dad was like, oh my God, it's the best thing you'll ever see ever in a million years. And And I don't think it was. So, I mean, it was alright. I could understand why some people would think it's funny, but I didn't find it that funny. Some bits were funny, but yeah, people laughed at bits that I was like, oh, is that a joke? Is that supposed to be comedy? So we've seen two things in the theatre. Dad's a bit of a theatre goer. I'm seeing him tomorrow, so I feel like I'm gonna break his heart when I'm like, yeah, it was all right, I guess. The thing is, the theatre, so that cost £50 a ticket, which is a lot of fucking money, right? I'd much rather go to the cinema 10 times. You know? For that much money, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's 10 times better than the cinema. I don't even think it's better than the cinema. That being said, two things we've been to the theatre for now. Book of Mormon and The Curious Incident of the Dog of the Night. The Curious Incident of the Dog of the Night was brilliant. I'd recommend that, 21. I wouldn't recommend Book of Mormon 21, but everyone thinks it's great. So what do I know? But yeah, came back. It's nearly midnight. I need to go to bed. I'm getting up early because I'm getting on a train to go to London to do something. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, but me and Dad in London. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to it on one hand, but I'm not looking forward to it on the other hand. I'm looking forward to it because, see, going to London, doing something weird with Dad that I don't know. That'll be fun. But on the second hand, I'm going to shit on his dreams about Book of Mormon. And I feel like there's potential for me to just like break down over my past bad week working with Barry Ellis and Red Spider. You know, my bad news that I got, basically, / the realisation I came to. But anyway, bedtime. This is busier than I expected so early in the morning. Got 20 minutes to my train as well, but Laura was stressing about making sure I'd be here on time, so we're early. Also, I just panicked. I just tried to turn my camera on and it wouldn't turn on. I'm like, I was doing that thing again when the battery is like dead for no apparent reason. I just remembered it charges with my phone charger and I've got my phone charger with me, so I'd be alright anyway. I was like, should I take 2 batteries with me just in case? No need. Yeah, like I say, I literally have no idea what's going on today. I don't know where I'm going. I know I'm going to London. I'm getting to London about an hour before Dad is. And then I'm making my way across London to King's Cross where Dad's getting there. Meeting him at King's Cross, and then I don't know. Then we get some food, then we're doing something, then we get some more food, and then we're going home. I don't know anything else. So I've got my laptop bag ready for doing some laptop stuff. But to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff I need to do now is all internet based, so I'm going to be limited in what I can do programming wise. But I've got blogs I can do and all that kind of stuff. Basically, I need to effectively think. I've got an idea. I just need to strategize. I think the train's going to be a good opportunity for me to do that. So why isn't A at the front of the train? I'm gonna just walk all the way up there to be like, all right, boy. Yeah, just went all the way up there to get on the train at platform A, and it's literally the opposite side of the bloody train. Here we go, boys. We're about an hour before we're going to meet Dad, but apparently he's had some altercations with the buses and the trains, and he might be early. He doesn't know what train he's on. So that's why I can't imagine him in London, you know what I mean? I don't know where I'm going today, so I'm Oyster carding around. I need to check how much balance I've got on my Oyster card and then roll. I'm not having the best of luck here with the tubes today. The City line confused me at Paddington because I know that it's possible to go the wrong way round, and you get into a loop where you can't go where you want to go. That scared me, so I went to the Bakerloo line instead. And then I nearly got on the Metropolitan line, which would not take me to King's Cross. Nailed it, boys and girls. Took too many legs. Took me way longer than it should have done. If I'd have just known you change over at Edgare Road or whatever the fuck it's called, I'd have been fine. Cool. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Oh, I've had a bit of a mare with these old tubes, boy. On my way back to Paddington now. I've been less lucky than normal. I'm normally quite lucky. I've never been on a Sunday before. There's a lot less trains, you know? So don't ask me how I noticed this, but at some point yesterday, about the time I got to War of the Worlds, which I'll tell you about in a minute, my camera converted to 4K 30 frames per second. And that's a problem because everything else is 1080p 60 frames a second. So I'm trying to convert it back so it's 1080p 60. Obviously that's not going to be, it's probably going to be obvious that that's been done, but at least it'll mean that I feel like if I put in, I think with my experiments in the past, if I put in 2 different resolutions into the same video, it like chews it up, it doesn't like it. Oh, phew, I fixed it. Right, okay, just got to process the other 2 clips. Whew, god damn, I don't know how I noticed. I think I noticed because the amount of video recording I could do drastically changed from like 4 hours to 2, and I was like, oh, and then checked the resolution. I was like, bloody hell, when did that happen? And then I've just imported all the videos and found out and whatnot, but god damn. It's one of them things that, like, because I'm so far behind, when I do finally render that out, I wouldn't notice, you know? So, cool. And it's annoying because it's one of those things, it's not like I could reshoot that video. Like, if it was just a normal video at home, I'd just bin it, and I'd be like, okay, fuck it, and just start again. But yeah, right, sorted. All fixed. So, we are getting on with that day, boys and girls. It's time for a cup of tea. But otherwise, we are trying to focus on getting ourselves back on track today. Over the weekend, while I was on the train, I got quite a lot of work done on my laptop, even though I was offline, which I was quite impressed with. I was using, been building bash scripts and PowerShell scripts to do what I need them to do in the function, my cloud functions. And I was using Docker containers, which I happen to have, going into them and then go into the help documentation for the Azure CLI and stuff like that to try and figure out how I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And then I started Googling around on my phone of doing bash scripts. I'm pretty new to bash in general. I'm a PowerShell Windows guy, so yeah, it's nowhere near as nice as PowerShell, but I need it, so we're there. But today I'm not going to send out any emails or anything, but I'm going to focus on picking who I want to email and kind of figuring out a plan for the next couple of weeks to see kind of how I'm going to approach it and whatnot. And that's what I've been doing so far. I've been kind of organising. I obviously went off the bandwagon a little bit, and I'm a bit lost. From a mental standpoint, the thing I spent 50% of my time doing now feels like a waste of time, and the other 50% of my time was spent trying to build that. 50% was trying to do things so that would be better. So I'm kind of a bit of a loss, to be honest with you, because I need to figure out how to convert that effectively 75% of my time into something, probably more, into something that could be more valuable for me. But yeah, so I'm going to try and figure out which of my contacts, quote unquote, contacts, I can talk to in order to try and find a new problem to solve. And try and do it the right way around. So find a problem that people have that they're looking for solutions for, rather than what I had previously, which was effectively a solution, and then I tried to convince people they had a problem, which they didn't care about particularly, which my last meeting last week showed. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my plan of attack for today, and then starting tomorrow, I want to be at a point where tomorrow I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. Whether that's trying to organise meetings or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, I'm just trying to. It's very easy to sink into a mood of unproductivity, you know, when everything kind of feels like a waste of time. And the thing I like doing the most, quote unquote, the thing I like doing is the bit that now effectively isn't work anymore, you know. And that's a weird shift, because the thing that's been work for the last 6 months isn't. Otherwise though, yesterday, I didn't talk too much yesterday. It was pretty stressful, to be honest with you. I had a couple of issues with tubes and trains, which I'll go into. But I met Dad in town, in London, at King's Cross, and then we went to go get some lunch, walked around town a bit, just catching up or whatever, walked along the river and whatnot. And then we went to, because Dad bought us tickets to the War of the Worlds experience in London, and it's the only thing I can liken it to is I think the dungeons in London. It's a bit like that, where it's there's actors and they walk you around this world that tells the story of War of the Worlds and whatnot. And it's really good. And then there's little bits of it where you do VR effectively, and you've got a VR headset and you're walking around. That's really cool. And then there's kind of rides, I guess, in VR as well. They're really good too. It was really good. It was really interesting. I've never done VR before, and I mean, like, it wasn't the best VR. That was a bit of jank. There was like a couple of like bodies glitching, and the resolution wasn't great. I'm assuming because it's being powered by a laptop that's on your back, rather than like a proper machine. Well, let's put it this way: I've not tried VR before, but if that's what like VR's like for like games, then I don't know what the hype's about, you know? At the end of the day, it wasn't about like graphical stuff. And I mean, like, VR is very expensive to do. Like, my computer is pretty expensive and is only just VR ready. Like, it's the cheapest graphics card I could buy that was VR ready. I didn't buy it because it was VR ready, but it was the cheapest graphics. I wanted a graphics card that had X feature, and that X feature happens to also have VR. Obviously, I'm never going to use it for VR. But yeah, like, so that's why. But that's not kind of the reason you're there, you know what I mean? You're not there to be like wowed about the realism and stuff. Yeah, it was really good. It was really, really good. And then we went to go get a curry and then came home. But yeah, I had a couple of tube issues where, like I say, I got the wrong line. We ended up on the city line and we got on the wrong side of the same, so it was like something east and then something, and we went into the east side of it and then went west, and we wanted to go to the non-east side and then go west, and then we ended up getting on the district line instead of the city line. It was a bit of a mess, and I got to the train station at Paddington to get the train, and I was there 3 minutes early, just saying. And my train wasn't on the board at all. The next train was like in 10 minutes time, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I started to queue up at the information board. There was someone there taking forever, and I'm like, it's normally on platform 2, the train I want, 2 or 3. So I go to platform 2 or 3, and I ask someone, there's no information on the boards at all. The train's just sat there, and like people are getting on it. Well, they're like conductors are like getting the last people on it. And I go up to the conductor, I'm like, excuse me, is this going to Parkway? And he goes, yeah. So I jump on the train, and then I'm walking along the train to get to my carriage, which is right at the fucking end. And then halfway down the train, it turns into, it's like 2 trains stuck together, so you can't walk all the way through. And yeah, so then I spent the entire way. I mean, I managed to get a seat and a table still, so I got some work done. But I spent the whole way panicking that the train was going to split into 2, and I wasn't going to make it home. But yeah, it was a really good day. There was lots of walking, and it was pretty stressful, just because of like the trains and stuff. It wasn't very relaxed, let's put it that way. I wish it was a Saturday, not a Sunday, that we did it, so we could relax on Sunday. Like, part of my mindset today is like, trying not to stress about the position I'm in. Figure out a game plan. Collect myself. Hit the ground hard tomorrow. And I'm still hitting the ground hard today, but you know what I mean. Bloody hell, man. I'm trying to figure out how to like prioritize who I want to talk to, how I'm going to talk to them, who I've already been talking to, how do I carry on talking to them, and all that kind of stuff. And there's just so much of it. It's so like daunting. It's hard to figure out like where to chip in, you know? Maybe the correct answer is just catch up and just carry on. See, I feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like I need to shift tactics. I just feel like paralyzed. I feel like I don't know where to look. Okay, right. Let me think about that. I've got stuff on my whiteboard. So my two most important things are to close active connections, not close them, but chase active connections that I've got, and then look into anything that leads to consultancy/freelance work while I try and investigate ideas. And I've got to work around those ideas, basically. Right, well, we're making progress. It's another day, by the way. We're making progress on some meetings and stuff. So I've got a telephone call booked in with someone who should be able to shine a relatively interesting light, to be honest with you, on some stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. To be honest, I'm really struggling with drive today. It's so fucking hard, man. It sucks balls. Like, I feel like I've lost the passion for it, you know? Like, it's just gutted my drive to because I haven't got anything to drive towards at the moment, you know? That's the like problem. Like I've got nothing to strive towards at the moment, so I'm kind of just floating, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do. And like, I just can't like, I can't just sit and write emails and stuff all day. It drives me mad. I'm a developer. There's two things I like. I like developing stuff and I like working with people and teams. And that's what I'm not doing either of those two things at the moment. And previously, obviously, I was always doing at least one of them and then trying to build up the other one. Oh, fuck me, man. I'm really, really struggling. Oh, god damn it, man. I've got a bit of a new like wind, a new drive. So I've just done like a load of admin stuff, written another email, and all that malarkey. Lots of work. What was I going to say? I've carried on, but I'm not pushing it. I'm not going to push into doing all of this stuff if I'm not feeling like it, because it's too mentally draining. So when I run out of steam, I'll move on to programming and then do finish off my bash scripts that are going to be generating Docker stuff. Won't be generating Docker stuff actually, they'll be running inside the Docker stuff. Shift tax in that respect. So right, what shall we watch while having my lunch, boys? FML, boys. Well, when did I last talk to you today? I've been doing a bit of programming this evening. I've like sorted out a load of stuff, made some significant progress. But I've been doing some programming and I've now got my containers doing what they're supposed to be doing, using mounts to get data out of the container and putting it into Azure file storage. Now I've just got to figure out how to get it out of there. God damn it, man. You can't trigger actions based on file uploads. And I didn't check whether or not I could. I just assumed that it was just basically blob storage underneath and it was just a nice API over the top of it. It's not. You can do actions, but like via event grid or something like that. You can do actions, but you can't do connections out the box. So I'm gonna have to have a look to see if I can find a way around that. But it's dinner time, so let's get dinner sorted. My man, I got myself a solution. I was sat thinking about it and I'm like, how am I gonna do this, and this? I know how. Easy. I can trigger an event when I know the container is finished. As soon as the container's been shut down, the file's been uploaded or it hasn't been uploaded, and then I can check for it. And then I can raise events off of the fact that it has been uploaded or not. Living the dream, boys. You know how I'm spending my day today, ladies and gentlemen? I'm spending my day doing programming because I freaking love it. And that's how I enjoy myself. And I want to solve the problem I was facing yesterday, which is mildly frustrating problem to solve, but I'm solving it. Turns out you can't do events triggered based on when containers get created and closed. I'm assuming it's because the way the events are all triggered, everything I'm trying to connect to is being created on the fly. So therefore I'd have to like register events to it, you know what I mean? Rather than kind of saying anything that's created under this folder I want to know about. I kind of have to say any updates to that thing I need to know about. So that's why I can't get events from it. But I'm kind of hacking it in. The function that kicks it off is now sitting around and waiting for the event to be, for the thing to be successfully created. And then it's going to close and trigger an event to say it's been done. That's going to put a message on the bus, which is then going to be picked up. There's another way I can do it, which is using a storage queue, where I'll basically put the ID of the thing that I've just done into a storage queue and then just keep taking them off the queue and kind of polling to figure out whether or not it's finished. I could do that with functions relatively cheaply. Doing what I'm doing now isn't too bad because of how it's been run in a way. It's been run on a really cheap, basically fucking VM. Effective it's not, but like sitting around and waiting for it to finish isn't the end of the world. It will cost some money, but it's not a ludicrous amount of money. For the test data that I'm putting through it anyway. Yeah, so I'm trying to get into it. Again, I'm living the dream so far. I've spent 2 hours doing it this morning. I'm living the goddamn dream. I should say as well, it's my birthday today. This is how I'm spending my birthday. And like, I'm also looking around for things that I do that I've like kind of solved a problem for, you know what I mean? Like things that are annoying, like pain points that I could build like an app or a service to fix. Because there are things I've done like that at a code level. And maybe I should just start releasing them on GitHub or whatever, and on public NuGet packages, I don't know. But yeah, so long story short, I'm about to kick up the Ruddy tester malarkey. What am I talking about, boys? Finished the function, it's all running and it's putting a message on the other queue. I'm about to just configure a snapshot image so that it's got all of the data in it. I have to make some changes around how like everything's going to be bound into it and all of that malarkey. But yeah, that's all there now. So we're going to just run it and see if it works. We're just going to YOLO much swag our way into that bad boy. Just trying to have a good day, you know. Just trying to have a good day. Is that too much to ask? Should really do something like take the day off. But this is effectively taking the day off to me now. So I am so nearly there with this. I've got the initial like images being created properly. I'm having some issues with permissions. I kind of thought that if I gave like the user that obviously the app's running under a certain user profile, if I gave that user profile the ability to like list things from Azure Container Registry, I would assume that that means it could find the Azure Container Registry. Like there are other things it does when it does like a pull. I can't just do give it the permission to have ACR pull, because it can't find and discover the registry and log into it. It's bizarre. It's like it doesn't, it comes up with a load of other things that it doesn't have permission to do. So I give it back like contributor rights, which is too high up, really. I need to like kind of, I've gone up and I'm going to try and go down again. But yeah, it's odd. It's odd, but I'm having fun. So there's that. I'm gonna make myself some lunch. Yeah. Can't even tell you how close we are, boys and girls. We're so close. I just get like a little bit further, just a teeny tiny little bit further. And then it's like, damn, that doesn't work because of this. Cool, let's do that again. Restart it, go. This is legit one of those things that's just like debug, 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 you know? Obviously there's a lot of stuff I've never used before. And a lot of stuff I've never attempted to... Like I've done, as much as I've done like this kind of like setting up cloud infrastructure, I've never done it programmatically when triggered via like message bus commands and all this kind of stuff. So even then I'm using things I've never used before, like file shares in Azure and well, PowerShell scripts to a certain extent. I've had some previously, but they've all been like relatively simple interactions with container instances. No, sorry, the ACR, the container registry. But now I've got to do like, create a file share if it doesn't already exist. Cool. Download this information from blob storage, upload it to the file share, kick off a container instance and attach the file share via a volume, then run it. When it's finished, put a message on the bus to say that some information's now in the file share, you've got access to it. So much fun. But like I say, there's little bits like, at no point do I name the modifications I'm doing to the file. So I'm doing like, I'm like modifying files and whatnot as I'm doing all the analysis. But I never mention what the file, I guess I have the file name at hand, but I've never like, the generated stuff doesn't have a file because at that point it doesn't care. Like it's not a file, effectively, it's just a slab of code. It just happens to be in a file, right? So it's just a GUID. It doesn't have an extension on the end of it. Can't do that in a file share. So when I'm trying to upload it to the file share, it won't go because I'm trying to save it as a blah blah. So I'm just going to put .txt on it, and then I can upload it to the file share, strip it out of the file share, and then copy the contents over to the real file. Whew, it's a hoot, man. It's a hoot. We're so close for it working. To be honest, I'm just trying my hardest. Like, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm trying my hardest not to slow down because then I start to like lose faith a little bit. But a part of me is like, kind of getting over the bad feedback I got last week. Like, it's been a full week now since that meeting where it all kind of crashed down a little bit. But part of me is like, that's one meeting and it only invalidates one target market. It was, granted, it was one of the target, and it almost infers information from another target market where it doesn't fit. Like, it's not dead yet. It doesn't have to be dead yet. It's unlikely, but like part of me is like, I could brute force this, you know? The whole thing about like being an entrepreneur, it's like 50% knowing when to quit and 50% knowing when not to, you know? And that's the thing that's rattling around a bit. Oh my God, it's running. But I can't get the arguments into the script that's living in there. And I think it's something to do with the way that the quotation marks are getting stripped or sanitized going via the command line. And I can't get them there. I feel like it's being like kind of ripped apart and then sanitized, and then therefore I'm losing the speech marks, and my script is looking for like named parameter speech marks. So it's problematic, boys. I'm thinking of going for a walk to step away for a little bit. I might do some shopping. I've got blood oranges, boys. You can smell the blood oranges from here. They smell so good. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go for a walk and then come back and then we'll have another go. I think Laura's coming back on time / early today. Oh, we've got cheese and potato pie for dinner. I love cheese and potato pie. It's my fave. Hence why we're having it today. But going a bit gluttonous, boys, because we've got an extra sausage each. Woo! I really feel like I don't make much of a big deal about my birthday. I never have. I feel like it's if I'm being honest, like it's hurting a bit more today than it ever has previously, because I'm on my own, you know? Like I'm not around anyone. I'm not like, it's not like normally I just go to work like a normal day and just take in cakes or something, you know? And it's a normal day. But like obviously the beating I've taken over the past couple of days, and then it's not a normal day today. I'm at home, you know? So it's like, it's not normal already. And it's thinking, but I'm enjoying myself. I'm so fucking close to getting this thing working, boys. It's almost making me not want to go for a walk because I could just sit and do it, but I need to get out and about, get some fresh air. I should say as well, like Laura's had a pretty, I don't know where I was going to go then. I was going to show you something, I forgot what it was. What Laura got me for my birthday, she struggled a little bit and I felt really bad this morning. So she got me some shoes, but she hasn't bought them. She put my old shoes in a box and was like, I can't find the ones you wanted. Because I literally just want the same shoes again, you know? But otherwise, you guys know this bad boy, right? I've had this bad boy since I was at uni, first year at uni. The elbows are like starting to go or whatever, but I freaking love it. Look at it, it's so warm, it's fleecy everywhere, and it's so nice. In fact, I might actually look at that brand. I might Google that in a minute. It's getting tatty. So Laura went out to try and find me another one. And she got me this one here. This like grey one. But, and I felt really bad because I commented on it straight away. The sleeves are like a coat material. Like a plastic. Not fleecy, lovely and warm all the way down. And the one I bought Laura for Christmas a year or so ago wasn't fleecy all the way down, but it wasn't this like cold material. It's just like not very nice. I felt so bad. But I'd rather me say it's not bad so she can get her money's back, you know. So I'm assuming it wasn't cheap, because these things never are cheap. Especially when you get like the nice fleecy bit. Like this bit's nice. It's not, they don't do this stuff anymore, because this is like proper sheepskin, boys. This is posh AF. But they don't do that anymore. So it's like this kind of fake one. It's not as thick either. It's more of a date. I don't like the sleeves. That's what I felt so bad for. Turns out this brand, Epona Clothing, I can buy the domain if I want it. That company doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, I totally appreciate how blooming hard it is. I remember trying to find Laura a hoodie like mine. And I ended up having to get one. I got one from Hollister that was fleecy on like the main bit, but then this bit was like, it was still quite thick, but it wasn't fleecy. But it was like a cotton material like this is. I find it weird that it's like the inside of a sleeping bag or something, you know what I mean? Like why? Why that material? It's gross. But yeah, sorry Laura. Man, I have no idea why my bloody Docker file container won't take the bloody arguments I give it. Like it's like, here's the command, /bin blah blah blah, -c, the file I want to run, and then here's the arguments I want to pass to that. No arguments found. Just give me 1 second, boys. This is the boy, boys, this is the boy. Only bloody gone and figured it out, haven't I, boys? I need to get some water on, I need to get some spuds boiling. Right, well it worked. The data hasn't come out, so it's not in the file share. So copying the results out of it didn't work. So only one problem to solve now, boys. All right then, boys, it is time for bed, and I'm going to end the video here as well. We have had a pretty fun evening. We played a bit of Overcooked, watched some TV. Laura fell asleep ridiculously early. But we're heading off to bed now. Cheese and potato pie, man. I'm telling you, cheese and potato pie is, if someone did like, you know those like burger eating competitions where if you can eat the whole burger, it's free. I would bankrupt people if they tried that with cheese and potato pie. Doesn't matter how much it is, it's gone. Otherwise though, I'm particularly going to bed early because tomorrow is a weird day. I've got a networking event thing in the morning at 7:30 in town, which means I've got to leave here like optimistically at 7. I should probably leave before then as well. It's going to be cold. I'm taking my longboard. So I'm currently charging the lights, which is why it's there. I need one more cable to charge the brake light on it as well. We're going to be hitting the road nice and early. We're going to do some work in town, and then we're going to go to have lunch with an old work friend, Tester, which I'm going to try and pick his brains a little bit and see what he thinks about some stuff that I've been thinking about. Interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later.